New comic book day is just about here, so let's take a look at the books on my pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. It's my weekly video where I take a look at all the books coming out. I'll tell you what's on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and even some new number ones that have hit the radar this week for New Comic Book Day, June 19th, 2024. That's right, Juneteenth. There's going to be a bunch of comics coming out on Juneteenth, but spoiler alert, I ain't see any Juneteenth comics on this week's new releases. So we're going to have to settle for just the regular old comics this year. There's always next year, publishers. There's always next year. Now, I like to start these books off with this list off with the book I'm most excited for. And we're going to go ahead and do that with Uncanny Valley, issue number 3, out this week from Boom Studios. Is written by Tony Fleecs with art by Dave Wachter. And this is, I don't know how to describe this book except that I love it. It's my favorite indie title out right now. Hence, it making the top of the pull list this week. Basically, it's this kid named Oliver who may or may not be part cartoon, and he's discovering the fact that he lives in a world where the cartoons that he watches on TV are actually real. And not only are they real, but one of his favorite old classic cartoon characters is actually his grandfather, and they may or may not be on the run from some evil crows that are after them. I don't know why they're after them, but hey, man, I don't trust the evil crows either. They didn't really work out for us, Dumbo. But anyway, so if you're following the series, you'll know that Oliver and his grandfather, whose name is not Yosemite Sam, but I can't remember his actual name, but they're on the run. There was a great scene in the last issue where, they do the classic walking across the canyon trope. And then, you look down, you fall. But I love that his whole body falls and his head stays up in the same spot. Just great stuff. I'm really, really loving this series, and it's got a lot of heart and a lot of depth. Like, it's not as silly as the idea of like a Looney Tune coming to life sounds. This doesn't feel like it's, trivial or juvenile. Like it's got stakes. It's got heart. I'm excited about this book. Uncanny Valley number 3. Out this week with a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And since we're here, we're going to keep on with the indies, starting with Darkwing Duck, Justice Ducks, issue number 4, written by Roger Langridge with art by Carlos Sidloro from Dynamite Entertainment. And this, again, basically a continuation of the Darkwing series that Amanda Dibert wrote last year. But this time we brought in all the Justice Ducks. So you got Launchpad and Stegmut and Gizmo Duck and Goslin and Morgana and Neptunia. And did I miss one? Did I miss a duck? I don't know. The point is, you got the whole Justice Ducks. And it's hilarity that ensues. It's typically having to do with some sort of being from outer space. And the way they solve the problem is in a way that only the Justice Ducks could. I've really been enjoying this whole Dynamite era of Darkwing. Speaking of, Dynamite did just announce a Kickstarter that they are basically putting all of their Darkwing era in paperbacks or hardcovers if you so choose. And alongside the Dynamite Darkwing era, they are also collecting the classic Darkwing comics. So the 4-issue miniseries from 1991, and then the Darkwing excerpts from the Disney Adventures Marvel comic from like 92 to 94. So a lot of Darkwing stuff. If you want to grab it, I'll put the link in the description down below, because I'm a Darkwing fan, and I assume you are too, maybe, if you're watching this channel. But anyway, Justice Ducks issue 4 is out this week. Cover price is $4.99. Jay Lee did the cover A. Or is it the cover A? I don't remember where I put it, but either way, I'm grabbing that one because that's the one I like. Now, next up, also from Dynamite, also having to do with Disney Comics, is Hercules, issue number 3, written by Elliot Kalin with art by George Cambadeas, who you may remember from the Dynamite Gargoyles series. I read issue 1. Enjoyed it. Feel like it was a little slower of a start, not quite as hilarious as the Disney Villains Hades series, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Getting to see Phil and Meg, and like it's great just seeing the classic Hercules characters. I don't think I've read issue 2 yet. If I did, I don't remember it. So it's got to be that I didn't read it because Elliot Kalin's writing is not unremarkable. Hercules issue 3, though, is out this week with a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And now we've come to the first book on the chopping block this week. That's right. A book that I was previously paying for that I've decided, I'm not going to pay for that one anymore. And that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution, issue number 2. I almost got that right. So TMNT, The Last Ronin, Volume 2, Issue 2, Volume 2 of The Last Ronin basically sees a brand new crop of mutant turtles, and we're kind of starting over again with a new set of 4 turtles with some different abilities and really cool stuff, honestly. It's not a bad series at all, but it seems like, IDW's been firing on all cylinders with this Last Ronin franchise. They talked about either a movie or a video game in development or both. The Last Ronin is like still topping sales charts like years after the release. The only cylinder they're not firing on is timeliness. This book is not coming out on time. I feel like it's like every 3 months. And the fact that it's a $9 cover price book, coupled with the fact that it's not coming out every month, says to me, you know what, Kicks, just sit this one out. Get the hardcover because you're going to want it to go along with all the other Turtles hardcovers sitting behind you. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to pay $9 for this book, knowing I'm not going to get to it in any sort of timely fashion. I'm going to forget what I read between issues. So saving some money this week. Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution, issue number 2, is out this week. Cover price is $8.99, and that's how much I'm saving by chopping it off the pull list this week. Now, let's move on to a series that I am buying. This is from Ram V, is The One Hand, number 5. Ram V and Lawrence Campbell on this series, this being the sister series to The Six Fingers by Dan Waters and Sumit Kumar. Now, I had been enjoying this series, and then somehow, like around issue 3, I just kind of fell off. Like, I forgot to read issue 3 of one series. Then I read issue 3 of the other one, and I was like, oh, wait, I should have gone back. And I couldn't find my single issue because my office is a mess, and now I'm completely behind. But issue 5 of each respective series is the final issue. And so if you, unlike me, are caught up, you're probably eagerly anticipating the end of this series, these 2 sister series, telling the story of a detective trying to sort of solve the case that got away, the serial killer case that has suddenly reopened just before he was about to retire, and the subject of that investigation who doesn't know how or why he's the subject. And I guess I'll kind of leave it at that. Really enjoyed the series so far. It's probably going to collect better or read better in a trade, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. Cover price on this is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And last issue on the indie pull list this week, I'm honestly not sure if it's on the pull list, but this is When the Blood Has Dried. Issue number 3. I wanted to give it a shout out, whether it's on the list or not, because this series by Gary Maloney and Daniel Romero is just really, really good. It follows this woman named Meeb, who used to be a part of this sort of adventurer guild. And, she got out under some sort of shady circumstances, and another shady figure from her past has sort of caught up with her, didn't know she was alive, and now he's trying to exact revenge in some pretty creative ways. Really enjoying it through 2 issues. Actually, I read the first 3 as review copies. So if you have been keeping up with the series, you're going to enjoy it at least through issue 3. I've not read issues 4 or 5, but I don't doubt the team's ability to weave a great tale, because this book has been super, super captivating. From Mad Cave Studios, When the Blood Has Dried, issue 3 is out this week with a cover price of $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A, which is the only cover, by the way. And that's it for the indie books on the pull list. I saved $9 by not buying The Last Ronin 2, and that means my indie total is just $24. So we're in good shape. We're in good shape heading into the House of Ideas. So over at Marvel Comics, there are 3 books on the pull list, and we're going to start with Black Panther Blood Hunt, issue number 2. Now, I'm up and down on the Blood Hunt event. When I say up and down, I just don't care about Blood Hunt. I don't particularly care about vampires in the Marvel Universe. I'm just like, whatever. I'm reading it so I can find out what happens to all the main characters, because after Blood Hunt, Storm is joining the Avengers. And by the way, Blood Hunt is immediately picking up where the runs of Blade and presumably Black Panther left off, considering those series respectively each got canceled. So I'm reading Black Panther Blood Hunt because T'Challa's turned into a vampire. Yes, real life 616 T'Challa is now a vampire. And I gotta see what that means for Wakanda. This is written by Cheryl Lynn Eaton with art by Fareed Kamar. Did I say that right? Did I do it right? Let's look it up because my memory is not that great. Fareed Karami. Anyway, so what I like about this book is that it's not just a throwaway book with Black Panther, but it might read that way if you've not been following Black Panther for a little while, whether it's through the last 2 runs by Ridley and Ewing, or even back to the Ta-Nehisi Coates days. There are some spiritual things going on, like stuff with Bast and all of that, that are being brought up here, retread here, that I think are interesting and have interesting implications. Also interesting to me, the fact that T'Challa is like back in Center City, in Wakanda when he's supposed to be exiled. What's that going to mean for the country, his status, his sister? A lot of interesting things going on, but I guess the best part about it is, yeah, T'Challa's a vampire, but he's going to do the noble thing, because that's just what T'Challa does. I'm enjoying it, probably because I'm a huge Black Panther fan. If you're not, you can probably skip it, but I'm not. I'm buying it with a cover price of $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up is Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 6. This might be the first time Ultimate Spider-Man was on the pull list and it wasn't my pick of the week or like the most anticipated book, but it's been kind of slow, and Marco Cicchetto hadn't been on art for the last 2 issues, and it's just kind of like, it's fine. It's not bad. The story is still compelling. Jonathan Hickman is still masterfully weaving this tale, but I do want it to pick up a little bit. And it looks like we're going to see that. A nice little face-off between Spider-Man, potentially Green Goblin, and Kingpin. Hey, what more could you ask for? So I'm excited about this, and we're going to get, apparently, some interesting stuff from Mary Jane, according to the solicit. Interesting. Cover price on this one is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the last book on the Marvel pull list this week, speaking of expensive books, did you notice like every book is $4.99 this week? Anyway, Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, issue number 1. It's a one-shot. Just like last month, we had that Doom one-shot from Hickman and Sanford Green. Now we got Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. It's written by Jason Aaron. There is a bevy, a who's who of artists on it, all of whom had been associated with the Uncle Scrooge character at some point or another. The story? What's the story? I don't know. The reason I'm picking this up is it's going to be my first foray into an Uncle Scrooge comic. I have read bits and pieces of the life and times of Scrooge McDuck, but this is obviously a new era. This is the first time Marvel is telling an Uncle Scrooge story, to my knowledge. Well, also to the knowledge of whoever wrote the solicit. So there's that. But when Uncle Scrooge's fabled money bin gets stolen by a shocking culprit, the world's toughest duck must undertake a quest unlike any other, alongside a surprising array of allies. Other versions of himself. Okay, multiversal Scrooge, an oversized special from Marvel mainstay writer Jason Aaron and a cater of celebrated Scrooge artists. Also, this represents the classic Christmas on Bear Mountain, which is the first appearance of Scrooge McDuck by the legendary Disney Comics creator Carl Barks. Nice. They're crediting Carl Barks these days. That's amazing. I love it. But anyway, Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, I've been enjoying all this Darkwing nostalgia going on at Dynamite. Figured I'd jump in on this one issue of Uncle Scrooge because it looks cool. And there's a bevy of covers. There are so many covers for this book. The cover A is by Alex Ross, and I can't even lie, that's probably my favorite, but it's not the one I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the Elizabeth Torque variant, which has Scrooge looking like he's posing to be on a coin. I really like that one. There's a Frank Miller variant that I don't hate. There's a John Romita Jr. variant that I like a lot, actually. Anyway, you probably can't go wrong with these covers. There's even a 1 in 10 Gabriel Del Otto variant that I would absolutely buy if it was like no more than $2 over cover price. But that's going to require your shop to order an insane amount of copies of this book. Anyway, going way too far, getting carried away. Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, issue 1. It's a one-shot out this week. Cover price is $7.99. I'm grabbing that variant I told you I was grabbing. And that's going to do it for the Marvel books on the pull list. Sticking to the list, those will cost me $17 this week. And it looks like we're headed for an over budget week. Let's see what's happening over at the Distinguished Competition, where at DC Comics, I am buying Batman issue 149. Batman written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Jorge Jimenez. Quite honestly, I didn't read issue 148 yet. In fact, there's a bunch of books from this month where I hadn't read last month's issue yet. And I guess that's just what happens when you go on family vacation and you don't have time to read your books. But whatever. Batman 149 is out this week. I'm excited about it. What I'm really excited about is issue 150, because Dennis Cowan is coming back to do artwork on Batman for the first time in like a really long time. Like I know he did a Batman black and white story with Dwayne McDuffie a while back. I don't know how many more appearances Dennis Cowan has had on Batman, so I'm excited about that. Batman 149, though, is what's out this week. Cover price on it is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. Next up is Green Lantern War Journal, issue number 10. John Stewart. Oh, by the way, this is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Montos. Really enjoying it. John is basically off-world, fighting against the Revenant Queen and fighting this infection that he's got, and really just kind of showing just how much power he has, like just doing incredible feats of willpower, if you will. And I've really been enjoying it. But while he is out there fighting this war, back home or back at Steel Tower, things are not all that great with his mom. Like, people have found out who she is. They're attacking, they're making their moves. And so he's going to have to come back and defend her. How's that going to go? I don't know, but I'm so locked in to this story. Green Lantern War Journal, issue number 10, out this week. Cover price is $3.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And next up is Nightwing, issue 115, another one of those books that I'm behind on. But this is part 2 in the Fallen Grayson storyline. This is, we are going to the end of the Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo era of Nightwing. There have been other artists, but it's mostly been defined by Taylor and Redondo. And quite honestly, it's been consistent, even if it's been slow. I've really enjoyed it. It's going to read great in omnibus format. And hey, we'll see if they stick the landing. I think 4 more issues to go. But Nightwing, issue 115, out this week. Cover price is $4.99. I'm grabbing cover A. And the last book on my pull list this week is Wonder Woman, issue number 10. Wonder Woman written by Tom King, not Taylor, Tom King, with art by Daniel Sampere. And honestly, it's the best looking book on shelves right now. Like, between that, the Green Lantern with the Zermanico on art, honestly, DC does not have a bad looking book out there, period. And it really just kind of depends on your taste, because even like the artists that Ron V's pairing with on Detective Comics, like, they are blowing it out of the water. Meanwhile, Marvel's got like, quite a few different varied styles. But anyway, this is not a DC versus Marvel war. I'm just saying, if you like good artwork, DC's where you need to be looking right now, although Pepe Larraz is killing it on Blood Hunt. Wonder Woman, issue number 10. This book has been good. It's been Wonder Woman who, of course has the lasso of truth, represents this sort of a purity of womanhood and femininity. And she's going up against, this master of lies in the Sovereign. And the Sovereign has sort of made his way into the annals of the United States government. And so we're seeing Wonder Woman fighting in an era that very much feels like the real world we live in today. Like, and it's like anti-feminist and, the misinformation and the whatever, like whatever you don't like about politics is happening right now. It's also happening in this Wonder Woman book. And I'm enjoying the way it's been tackled. Even a couple of issues ago, we had like a nice little deep dive exploration of how religion can be misused to push agendas. So it's been interesting. But again, depending on like how you feel about politics in comics or what side of the political spectrum you lean, you will or will not enjoy it to a greater degree. So I'm loving it. You might not, but Wonder Woman issue 10 is out this week with a cover price of $4.99. And I'm grabbing cover A. And that's it. That's the last DC book on the pull list. So my DC total this week is $19, which, as you might have guessed, puts me over budget. My grand total this week before taxes and before my subscriber discount is going to be $60. And hey, it is what it is. I was trying to make cuts, trying to see what else could I cut besides, The Last Ronin. I don't think When the Blood is Dry got ordered by my shop. So if that's the case, I've saved $5 right there. Now I'm only $5 over budget. I could probably go without Hercules and wait for it to be collected, but I don't know what size these collections are going to be. The Maleficent book that I waited for was like digest sized. So if I got to choose between standard size and digest size, I'm going to choose the standard size single issues. So Hercules is staying on the list for now. I don't think there's anything else that was even in jeopardy. I guess I could just not buy the Uncle Scrooge book, but why do that? So those are all the books on my pull list this week. There is one book on the radar that I should probably tell you about, and it is called Destro, issue number 1. Destro is new number 1 this week in the Energon universe. This is Dan Watters' entry into the Energon universe, which is very cool, right? We talk a lot about Dan Watters and Ram V together. This Energon universe over at Skybound, of course, this being on the G.I. Joe side of things, it's a shared universe between the Transformers and G.I. Joe. I have not been reading the G.I. Joe side of things. I did grab the trade paperback of Duke. I haven't read it yet. I think I grabbed the trade paperback of Cobra Commander as well. That's at my shop waiting for me, actually. So I am eventually going to read some of the G.I. Joe stuff just because the first issue of Duke was really good. But I don't know if I'm ready to fully invest in the G.I. Joe side of the Energon universe. I'm already trying to cut things down to the big 2. So adding a bunch of miniseries is probably not the move. Although Kelly Thompson on Scarlet just looks really good too. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. A Transformer and a G.I. Joe. I guess both of those are hard places. Anyway, Destro number 1 is out this week. Cover price is $4.99 if you are interested. It's on my radar. I won't lie. But that's the only book on the radar. But anyway, what are you picking up? Which of these books have you fallen off of in the same way that I did and you're not quite willing to admit it yet? Like, what's going on with your pull list? Let me know in the comments down below. By the way, I just got back from Heroes Con. I had a lovely time. I'm still sorting through all the stuff that I got so that I can do a proper haul video and recap. You can look for that to come sometime around Thursday. It might get pushed to Friday, which means I might miss top 5 Friday after just 2 weeks. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video soon. Till then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.